Get woke, go broke. Leave a like on the video right now if you enjoy that coming true. As it appears, the reckoning has started hitting companies like Disney. I actually have a video later about Disney Plus and how their woke programming nearly completely bankrupt that company or that arm of the company so badly that they just can't afford new programs. That's a wild one too. But I want to focus on massive layoffs that hit Disney, and they cut across TV, film, and corporate finance, affecting hundreds of people. This is a very, very large cutoff, and it's because, getting woke has a price. The exact number of Disney staffers who are losing their jobs could not yet be determined. Disney reps declined to comment. The cuts come just a few months after Disney laid off nearly 200 staffers across its TV and ABC News operation. In March, after the company let go 75 from ABC News and local stations in October of 2024, and last September, let go 300 people. In July 2024, Disney pink slipped another 140 employees in the television division, primarily affecting National Geographic, Freeform, and locally owned TV stations. The layoffs over the past year appear to be more surgical than the major cost-cutting moves that the company needed in 2023, shortly after Disney chief Bob Iger returned as CEO. As of September 8th, 2024, they have quite a few employees. In fact, and things have kind of turned around. For the first 3 months of 2025, Disney topped Wall Street earnings forecast. Iger said the company remains optimistic about its current fiscal year guidance, projecting earnings per share to be up 16% year over year for the fiscal year ending September 2025. Well, I don't think you're going to be able to do that if you keep losing $200 million on every movie you put out. Disney lays off several hundred employees in cost-cutting measure. The teams impacted including marketing for film and television, as well as TV publicity, casting, development, and corporate financial operations. Well, it seems like Hollywood Reporter has a little bit more of the scoop rather than Variety, which is just shilling for them. Disney is laying off several hundred employees globally as a part of cost-cutting measures. The impacted teams are employees who are working on marketing for both film and TV, as well as TV publicity, casting and development, and corporate financial operations. While individual employees from these teams are impacted and were notified Monday, no team itself is being eliminated. In March, Disney cut just under 200 jobs at ABC News and at its Disney Entertainment Networks division due to economic headwinds facing linear TV business. The cut represented about 6% of the division's the entire workforce. See, here's the thing. Disney, you can only keep cut. I mean, I suppose when you're Disney, you have a lot of costs to cut. You can cut a lot of them to offset the drop in incoming revenue. Where you see Disney's laying off hundreds. Again, this is the fourth round of layoffs and the largest in just the last 10 months. Earlier this year, we talked about that. Now, what's interesting about Disney is let's look at, Disney flops. We have Snow White. I think, is the Lilo and Stitch one doing okay? Disney's had several box office flops throughout history, including Snow White 2025, Wish 2023, Lightyear 2022, The Black Cauldron 1985. Well, I'd say we could probably give that a break. But if we look at, this is all in the modern, most of them are in the modern wokeism era. Disney's Snow White flop is deeper than anti-woke backlash, box office analysts say. Don't blame wokeness for the struggles Disney's Snow White is having at the box office. The remake of the 1937 classic had a disappointing $87 million global debut that missed nine-figure expectations. It also underwhelmed in the US with $43 million, showing that it fell short of the $50 million estimates going in. Some conservative critics took a victory lap over being frustrated by Disney's attempt to modernize the movie, by diversifying the cast and changing the plotline about the prince. But box office analysts don't think the go woke, go broke narrative that Wade Disney explains why Snow White hasn't been a hit. Okay, how about Lightyear? You know how you guys said, oh, it was the first hot, sweet chick-on-chick action in a children's movie. No, was it not Lightyear? How about what's the other movie that I just mentioned? Wish. I don't know if Wish was woke. I never saw it. I never saw much coverage of it. I know the movie flopped, but it's really more about how tarnished the Disney brand has gotten. People no longer trust being able to take their kids to one of your movies or to put on one of your TV shows for them. I don't think everyone just said it's woke, let's not go. David A. Gross, who runs a movie consultancy franchise, retold Business Insider. I think it's just a little bit confusing. It crosses signals. I think a lot of it goes back to the film. The reviews are just not good. Well, I can tell you right now, I'm not a film analyst for some company, but I've been analyzing films and their box office production or performance for the last 5 years, probably more than this guy has. Snow White absolutely positively bombed because it went woke. And its main actress was an insufferable twat that no one liked. That is why that movie tanked. If Rachel Zegler had never gone out on her Free Palestine stuff and had never, alienated the original audience by calling Prince Charming weird and a stalker, had never had clips of her demanding to get paid for every minute that movie had streamed, had never talked about how, a woman doesn't need love and that's outdated and that the new story was going to be stunning and brave. She did all of those things, and that's why the movie tanked. Now, I'm not saying it was a $1 billion blockbuster, and I am agreeing that the critic score of 43% probably kept people away from the movie in week 2 or week 3. But that's not why it completely tanked in the opening week, and that's not why it got. You want to know why it got bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes? It's a 40% right now, by the way. Let me just put it this way. I can't know this for sure. But Rachel Zegler coming out, the star of the movie coming out against Israel, given what everyone says about the film industry, probably had some movie reviewers thinking twice about giving this movie a positive review. I can't know that for a fact, but I suspect it. One thing I do know for a fact is that if she had never opened her mouth, they never would have felt, even hypothetically, that maybe they need to mute the review scores. Maybe. The cinema score, which was a B+, the movie isn't completely satisfying to audiences who are attending. Gross previously said in a written commentary, that has nothing to do with woke. The movie simply isn't connecting creatively with the level of a big Disney hit. Is that possible? Is it possible that it's not connecting with people because they neutered Prince Charming? Is it possible that the movie isn't connecting people because people could not stand the insufferable star of the movie and could not separate that reality from the fiction that they were supposed to be seeing on the screen? The layoffs are absolutely, a part of doing business. We can look at, I'm pretty sure Pixar got hit too. Pixar layoffs. This was back in 2024. Pixar Animation Studios implemented its biggest layoff in history, firing 15% of its workforce. Why do you think that was? Well, it was right after the massive flop that was Lightyear. Now, this Emotions movie or whatever, the Feelings movie, I think did pretty good. It was that one movie that was did okay. But ultimately, a lot of this can be pushed back to Disney not caring about the core family in America anymore. And if you look, their stock is probably going to react positively to this because Wall Street loves layoffs. Yeah, here you go. It's up 1%, up 2% in the last week, 24% in the last month. Year to date, about even. Last year, pretty good. The Disney stock has, it took a beating, but I'm sure a bunch of politicians bought the dip back in April, and then now it's doing just fine. Disney having the layoffs, ultimately, this is probably good for business, but if they don't change course and they don't get away from pushing all this nonsense, when's the last blockbuster that Disney's even had? Let's look at Lilo and Stitch's box office. Lilo and Stitch have $611 million global. That's very good. I'm gonna guess that it made money. I'm guessing Lilo and Stitch budget 2025. Whoa, 400 million? What? With a reported production budget of $400 million. No, they have to be talking about Mission Impossible. Yeah, Mission Impossible has a $400 million budget. I think these last two Mission Impossible movies both lost money. I'm not a Mission Impossible guy. I'm nothing against the movies. I'm just not, hardcore. So Lilo and Stitch had 100 million. Even if you double that, they were into the profitability at 400 million to 450 million. So Lilo and Stitch did good. Now, was there any woke nonsense in there? Not that I saw. I wonder why that is. It's like the media wants to go around every possible conceivable way to not admit that we were right and they were wrong. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.